I think we'll jump in and start our Sunday service. I want to welcome all of you to Open Door Center, to this wonderful celebration. It's fantastic to see all of you here with us this morning. I'm going to turn it over now to Sylvia for our welcome song.
Welcome to a place that knows you as God. Welcome to a place that sees who you are. We are of one mind. We are of one heart. Welcome to a place that knows the truth that God is everything. God is me, God is you. Welcome to a place that knows you as God. Welcome to a place that knows you as God. Welcome to a place that knows you as God. Welcome to a place that sees who you are. We are of one mind. We are of one heart. Welcome to a place that knows the truth that God is everything. God is me, God is you. Welcome to a place that knows you as God. Welcome to a place that knows you as God. Welcome to a place that knows you as God. Welcome to a place that sees who you are. We are of one mind. We are of one heart. Welcome to a place that knows the truth that God is everything. God is me, God is you. Welcome to a place that knows you as God. Welcome to a place that knows you as God. Welcome to a place that knows you as God.
Wonderful. And so now I want to turn it over to Carol Johnson to pray us in.
Good morning. So just breathe in that refreshing, enlivening breath of God and let go of any angst. And know with me that there is just one power and presence, and it is good and only good. And I can use it, and so can you. This good, this energy, because each of us are one with it. There's only one thing going on. And so right now, I just allow myself to relax into the sweet repose of knowing that regardless of appearances, all is in divine order. And I just sit back and settle into the all-encompassing arms of the Creator, letting go of fear and uncertainty and doubt. And as I let go, I make room for new ideas and my all good. As I say often, I am a magnet for good, and it rushes to me. There is nothing obstructing my good. And so today, I just relax and allow and release. I am grateful for this teaching that gives me these tools to know my good, to know that all is in divine order. And I just breathe into it. Thank you, God. And knowing it is done, I release it to the law, and together we say, and so it is.
It is. Thank you, Carol, for that wonderful invocation. It was just a fantastic means of moving into the wisdom and joy that Reverend Sally Robbins brings back to us. So thank you, Sally, for being here. I turn it over to you.
Thank you, Dr. Barbara. Welcome, everybody. Open Door. Woohoo! Shout out. Yay! Get some energy going. It's Sunday, Sunday, Sunday. Second Sunday of our new year. But I'm going to begin with some sobering news, some breaking news, as a matter of fact. Are you tired of that phrase yet? Some breaking news. And here it is. This is just coming into our newsroom here at WGOD, where God is good all the time. A powerful pandemic is sweeping the country and even the world. This pandemic is touching everything and everyone in its path. It is highly contagious. Let me repeat, it is highly contagious. No, it's not COVID-19. This is a pandemic of people all over the world coming together and intentionally deciding to be a powerful force for good. A powerful force for good. A force for peace. A force for collaboration. A force for collaboration, not conflict. Are you with me on that, my friends? This is the pandemic that we are going to be spreading today. Yes, the pandemic as a powerful force for good. This talk came through me like boom, 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 boom. And I know when that happens, that Spirit is speaking to me specifically. You know, ministers, we only give talks to ourselves anyway, right? You're just along for the ride. So I'm giving this talk for me this morning, and I hope, no, I don't just hope. Ernest Holmes says, we don't hope, we don't wish. We know, I know that you are receiving your direct download from Spirit right now this morning, that there is something that is going to be triggered, that is going to resonate, and you're going to go, yeah, that is mine to do. So I invite you to open your hearts, open your minds to that greater good, So, you know, I wish that was the breaking news. First of all, let me just tell you, if you have on your view, if you're on gallery, I invite you to go to speaker view, because speaker view will give you a more enhanced view, and because I'm going to be showing the slides also. But back to breaking news. I wish this was the breaking news of the day. But we all know that news. I started my career in television news. When I was 18 years old, when I started college, I was majoring in television production and broadcasting. And I started at a TV station. And the motto there at that TV station, as there is in every TV station, is if it bleeds, it leads. And so my career basically began chasing fire trucks and ambulances, because that's what news crews do. And I realized pretty quickly that this isn't what I want to be doing. I don't want to be spreading drama and conflict and all of those things. So I changed pretty quickly. But it was powerful training for me to understand the drama that goes on behind that in newsrooms, where they're constantly seeking graphic images. And did we have some graphic images this week? We sure did. And we've been just immensely saturated with those images. So this morning, I want us to focus on how can we be a powerful force within our own world, within our own region, within our own state, within our own country. I have a wonderful reading that I'm going to share with you today by Reverend Dr. Christian Sorensen, who is the minister of the CSL in Seaside, California, which is just north of San Diego. And Dr. Sorensen has been, he grew up in religious science. His parents were religious science ministers. And then he too became a minister at a very young age. He became one of the youngest ministers that we've ever graduated. And he has a stellar community there in California. He released this week. Actually, his assistant minister released it to the minister's listserv. And I saw it and I thought, this is just the panacea that I needed. So I want to share this. It's called A Prayer for Our Nation, which is kind of reflective on Ernest Holmes' Prayer for Our Nation. But this is by Dr. Christian Sorensen. He says, recognizing God's nation, indivisible with liberty and justice for all, is heaven on earth, Eden, the new Atlantis, one nation under God. The great divide of hatred, disease, and violence finds no place in this heavenly kingdom on earth. This is where love and safety for all finds its way without loss of freedom. Angry mobs breaching security, chaotic scenes of violence and unrest no longer win the screen time, for freedom reigns. Amid the rioting forces of conspiracies, abuse, and shameless assault of lies, the omniscience knows the answers that dissolve the issues of today. I surrender any fear or anger, realizing that what I witnessed was the releasing of pent-up collective frustration, misguided in its release. Isn't that beautiful? Divine intelligence that created this great nation in its day still guides it this day, seeing it through whatever challenges confronts this beloved country of ours. Divine patterns of harmony and calm now prevail, for the wisdom that guides this universe is the same intelligence that guides our nation now. The influential of today are divinely inspired with answers for tomorrow. Solutions and resolution beyond differentiating party lines emerge in the unifying hearts of enlightened leadership. A new compassion and understanding never seen before is now appearing in the souls of our leaders. Healing of broken hearts and ideals begins this moment. Forgiveness is practiced, caring expressed, unity is remembered, not ignited by war, but by a freedom for all, where honoring of beliefs and diversity is welcomed. America's divine heritage still inspires the soul of this great nation. Every elected representative is the honest voice of their constituency. Their mind is guided to solutions and resolutions by the all-knowing universal intelligence that never fails to reveal answers. God is the omnipresent guiding light in the affairs of our nation. I am grateful to be alive at this time to bear witness. He closes it by saying this, to bear witness to the intervening hand of God guiding our nation on a collaborative trajectory of greatness to one nation under God, indivisible with liberty and justice for all. And so it is. Is that fantastic? That's fantastic. Dr. Christian Sorensen wrote that. And I love how he encapsulated all that we saw this week that really triggered a lot of emotions in us all. Would you agree? And I know it certainly got me to a place where I really started wondering what the heck is going on here. And this is where we get to practice to know the truth. That if we can't trust the process, if we cannot trust that God is in this, if we cannot know that with certainty that God is on the playing field, no matter what is going on, this is where we get to step up. This is where we get to know that truth and not just philosophically think about it. In times like this is when we are needed the most. And this is where I am choosing to step up as a powerful force for good, Here's another powerful force for good. I'm going to share my screen with you. Another powerful force for good that is lining up in accordance with all of these ideas. And so when we look at that, we see that we are absolutely joined. We are joined together. And so as I share my screen here, there we go. Can everyone see that? All right. Thumbs up. Good deal. So a powerful force for good. Let me make this full screen so it's a little bit easier for you to see here. There we go. Okay. So here's another group that we rarely, you may not have even heard of this group. They're quietly working in the background on the world stage. And it's a group called the Elders. Let me show you this. The Elders were formed in 2007 by Nelson Mandela. And it's people like Jimmy Carter, Desmond Tutu have served on this auspicious group here. The woman in the red jacket is the current chairman. She was the first woman president of Ireland. So we're talking about global leaders who have come together and said that they're going to work for peace, justice, and human rights. Now, I'm going to read you their mission here. We will use our independence, collective experience, and influence to work for peace, justice, and human rights worldwide. Working both publicly and through private diplomacy, we will engage with global leaders and civil society at all levels to resolve conflict and address its root causes, to challenge injustice, and to champion ethical leadership and good governance. Holy mackerel, do we need a group like this? This group comes together and they have these initiatives that they start working the entire planet. Whatever good they can do, they are out there doing it. But I love their vision, the Elders' vision here. Our vision is of a world where people live in peace, conscious of their common humanity and their shared responsibilities for each other, for the planet, and for future generations. We envisage a world in which there is universal respect for human rights, in which poverty has been eliminated, in which people are free from fear and oppression and are able to fulfill their true potential. No longer is it every man for himself. We are here to build this vision. CSL's vision is very similar, a world that works for everyone. And so when we see a group like this, the Elders, I'll go to the next slide here, which Nelson Mandela again formed this in 2007. To be free is not merely to cast off one's chains, but to live in a way that respects and enhances the freedom of others. Whew, that is the responsibility he saw. Now, if ever a man could have been every man for myself after serving, 27 years in a prison in South Africa and coming out and becoming a force for good, that is my role model right there. This man decided that even in his elder years, he was going to make a difference. And he stepped up and said, what can I do? Who are the great minds of the world that I can bring together to make these things happen? The Elders work on several causes: ethical leadership, resolving conflict, equity for women and girls, which is a huge issue, not only abroad, but certainly still in this country, and championing refugees. They encourage dialogue between countries and they actively work to promote peace. That's the kind of group that I would love to be involved with. That's the kind of group that I want to envision for myself. What can I do? Maybe it's not working with the Elders specifically, but what can I do as a force for good in this Asheville, North Carolina, Western North Carolina? What can I do and how can I be a part of this force for good? Ernest Holmes, this wonderful quote from The Science of Mind: our work will best be done in quiet expectancy and in calm confidence. The results rest in the eternal law of good. I found that when I saw these events unfolding on Wednesday, I could feel just the rising in my, coming up to my throat, because I was getting so mad. I was getting discouraged. I was like, how can this be happening in our country? But Ernest reminds us here that in quiet expectancy and in calm confidence, that's where my power lies. And so I need to, and trust me, anger is good. Anger moves us, but we can't stay there. We've got to get back to that place of confidence that trust is the name of the game, and trusting that I am here to be a part of something bigger, something greater, something more evolutionary than me just getting angry at something that's going on in my world right now. I want to be on the evolutionary cutting edge, and I think you do too. That's what draws us to new thought, is how can we be a part of this powerful tidal wave, this tidal wave of good that is happening in our world. And when you work in the realm of good, there's so many things that come from that. The byproduct of that is my own peace, my own letting go of conflict, my own trusting, and my own forgiveness of myself and others. Those are the things that I want to be working on constantly. And you know, there is something, when you are working on your own inner peace, there are some wonderful byproducts that happen to that. Let me show you this wonderful work that was written by Saskia Davis. The 12 symptoms of inner peace. I love this. You've probably seen this before. A tendency to think and act spontaneously rather than from fears based on past experience. An unmistakable ability to enjoy each moment. Loss of interest in judging self. I could use a little bit more of that. Loss of interest in judging other people. Sign me up for that too. Loss of interest in conflict. Loss of interest in interpreting actions of others. Loss of ability to worry. Frequent, overwhelming episodes of appreciation. Contented feelings of connectedness with others and natures. And frequent attacks of smiling through the eyes of the heart. Increasing susceptibility to love extended by others, as well as the uncontrollable urge to extend it, and increasing tendency to let things happen rather than make them happen. That is where I want to be. That is who I want to be. And I want to have and exhibit those symptoms of inner peace today and always. Because when we know that we are here to be a powerful force for good, there's something that happens. It takes our consciousness up a notch, a notch, a notch. And this integral growth is that part of that spiraling upward process that happens in our evolutionary growth. And when we step forward and say with conscious intention, I am here to be a powerful force for good, my friends, Spirit will provide wonderful ways for that to happen. Let me tell you how some ordinary citizens were given the opportunity to step up and do their part in being a force for good. There was a chance in 2018 for this to happen. And a group of truckers were kind of called into the realm of doing good. But what happened was police received a call in 2018, just outside of Detroit, Michigan, that a man had climbed up onto an overpass of a very busy I-696. And he climbed up there and was threatening to jump and kill himself. So police immediately closed down both sides of the interstate so cars could not pass underneath that overpass, which was what the man was hoping could happen. He wanted to throw himself into the path of the oncoming cars and trucks. But what the police did next was extraordinary. Let me show you this picture. They asked trucks to line up in both directions. And they lined up so that if the man did jump, he wouldn't have as far to go to land. And it was blocking all traffic. You see the man in white on the far right of the screen? That's the man who was jumping. The lights there are where the police were trying to talk with him and get him down. So those truckers willingly pulled in their trucks and sat there. They sat there for a couple hours, as a matter of fact, while the man was reasoned with, and eventually he agreed, you know what, I do have something to live for, and they checked him into a hospital. This was all this man needed, was just a second chance to know that people cared for him. And these truckers were just doing their job. They were just driving along that interstate, and the police asked them, would you please put your truck into place? And 13 of them did. It was amazing. It was amazing to see that ordinary citizens just said, you know what, that man's life is worth something. I'm going to be a part of this powerful force for good. And a man named Chris Harrison wrote on Facebook, he was one of the truck drivers. He wrote about how that after the ordeal was over and they had taken the man to the hospital, that the police stopped at each truck to shake the driver's hand and to thank them for their efforts. I mean, this is just remarkable how when we are given the chance, if we state clearly and with intention that we are here to be a conscious force for good, Spirit lovingly and willingly provides those opportunities. Be careful what you pray for, because it will come about. You will be given the opportunity, and you can always say no. But I'm hoping that each one of us says yes, a full-bodied yes, to each and every opportunity that comes along to be this powerful force for good. Shakespeare wrote in As You Like It, and this our life, exempt from public haunt, finds tongues in trees, books in the running brooks, sermons in stones, and good in everything. I would not change it. There is so much opportunity to find good if we simply choose to look for it. And when I left the television news business, I wished that there was opportunity to tell the good stories that come on. And the news somehow does that. They'll usually end with a nice little story that's good. But by far, what drives ratings still is people looking for the human drama. And so the negativity is what is still driving things. What if we just in our own realm, all I can do is me. All I can do is me. If I stop feeding into the negativity and said, I'm going to feed my mind with all the positive, wonderful things that are happening in this world, because good is in everything. God is in everything. I know that, and I trust that. There's another wonderful story that I want to share with you. Not only do groups of people come together to do good in this world, but a country, New Zealand, decided just recently, when the vaccines were being released, New Zealand decided that they were going to do something for their neighbors. This was released on December 23rd of 2020. The New Zealand government has announced it will be supporting its Pacific neighbors, their neighboring islands around New Zealand, by helping ensure that they have access to safe and effective COVID-19 vaccines through the coming months. New Zealand Foreign Affairs Minister Han Nanea Mahuta said, Pacific countries have worked hard to keep COVID-19 out or to stamp it out, and New Zealand has been committed to supporting them in this. But their success has been hard-won. A safe and effective vaccine will be key to the region's economic and social recovery. They knew that these neighboring islands did not have sufficient funds in many cases to bring in these vaccines. So New Zealand decided that they were going to step up. They were going to step up. And in addition to buying their own vaccines, that they would purchase enough vaccines to share with neighboring countries. And specifically, Tokelau, Niue, the Cook Islands, and its Polynesian neighbors, Samoa, Tonga, and Tuvalu. And they've made offers to the governments. If you want some of these vaccines, they are yours. Is that not fantastic? That there is an entire government that is not just thinking of themselves. They're clearly taking care of their own residents, but they are looking beyond and saying, these are people that impact our lives too. With the comings and goings of boats and airplanes and all of that, we're going to take care of our neighbors. We're going to be a good neighbor, and we're going to do the right thing. Wow, that's really being a powerful force for good. The entire country. We can really learn from that. New Zealand, I got to tell you, the more I hear about them, the more impressed I am. that they are saying there is more than just us in this world. There is more than just us. Let's reach out and take care of those that may not have the capability to take care of themselves. That's really being a powerful force for good. Jana Stanfield, the musician, many of us love her music, says, I cannot do all the good that the world needs, but the world needs the good that I can do. That's a powerful statement. I can't do everything in this world, but the world needs what I can do. And when I look at it from that lens, that perspective, I see that there are opportunities for me, even if they appear small, they're going to make a difference in someone's world. And that can be a big, big thing. So I know that as those truckers lined up, that was one man. And yet their compassion was what fueled something that changed everyone who was participating and everyone who then exhibited that behavior or who saw that behavior. They got to see it modeled to them. And so Jana's right here. What can I do? What's the good that I can do in this world? You may have seen this one already too, but this story really, really struck me this week. After a horrifying day on Wednesday in the Capitol, one lone man, very late at night, decided that he had to do something. This is Representative Andy Kim. He's a representative from New Jersey. And after he was in there making sure that the votes were counted, he walked out to the statuary hall, a place that as a second generation immigrant, his parents were Korean immigrants. And he knew that the value of what this freedom, this democracy is. He saw all the stuff that was left behind, those who came through there. And he saw that National Guard units were helping to pick up, there was clothing and book bags and all kinds of stuff there. And so he quietly asked, can I have a bag too? And he started picking things up. And as he did so, he wasn't doing this hoping that there was a camera catching this. As a matter of fact, he said, I wasn't looking for the publicity. I just knew that there was something for me to do. He said, when you see something you love that's broken, you want to fix it. I love the Capitol. I'm honored to be there, he said. This building is extraordinary, and the rotunda in particular is just awe-inspiring. How many countless generations have been inspired in that room? He said, it really broke my heart, and I just felt compelled to do something. What else could I do? So he started picking up trash. That's what he decided was his to do in that moment. And as he did so, his fellow New Jersey Democratic representative, Tom Malinowski, saw him. He said, I think it was 1 a.m. This is Representative Malinowski talking. He said, there were a couple of National Guardsmen, and I noticed somebody on his hands and knees leaning under a bench to pick up something. And it was Andy, all by himself, quietly moving debris and putting it in a plastic bag. He was clearly not doing it for an audience. Malinowski concluded by saying, it was for me the most poignant moment of the night. This man had a job to do to make sure that the electoral votes were counted. And then the next thing he did was step up and move out and go into a place that he dearly loved. It wasn't beneath him to pick up trash. He was there to restore order in a place that he dearly loved. And this is how change happens, one person at a time. And when society is shaken like this, isn't that when we find that that's when we rise, that we all come together and there's a common rising there? And have no fear, my friends. There will always be more good in the world than bad. And I want to be a part of that. I sure hope you do too. We'll be just fine if we simply take up all the good that is ours to do. I'm going to end with this quote by John Wesley. It's one of my favorites. He says, do all the good you can in all the ways you can, to all the souls you can, in every place you can, at all the times you can, with all the zeal you can, as long as you ever can. As long as you ever can. And so I know that each one of us has the capability to say, maybe I don't know today what is mine to do, but I can be open to receive. And something, spirit will drop a download into me, and I'll go, yeah, I can do that. I'd like to do that. That would be something that I can rise to. So think about that this week. How can you be a powerful force for good? How can you be a part of this pandemic that all of us want to be a sweeping tide of good in this nation and in this world? The world is watching us. They really are. And I want to embody the principles that I hold so dear here in religious science. I want to embody what a religious scientist stands for, that God is good all the time. That's how I want to live. And as I do that, everyone around me sees that, and they know that they too can be a part of that. So I hope you'll join me this week in being a powerful force for good in your own way, because what you do will be very different than what I do. Take this challenge and be your own force for good. Be that which you came here to be, a force for love and peace and power and compassion and kindness, a force for kindness. Boy, we can use that. I know that you can be that. You are that already. Let's do this together. Namaste.
Namaste. Oh, Reverend Sally, big hand. Yeah, that was incredible. What a powerful and potent message. Just an incredible, experience of being uplifted and really alchemicalized from this week. Thank you so much. Yeah.
We needed that, didn't we?
Oh my gosh, yeah, that was a major infusion. That was wonderful. Thank you so much for that. Again, yeah, another big hand for Reverend Sally. Yeah, and
Thank you.
just in hearing you, Sally, the thing that went through my mind is we don't even need to know how it is that we might best be a force for good. When we open ourselves to that, the universe shows up and lets us know. It usually, in a multitude of ways. So how fascinating.
If we ask, the answer will come.
The answer
I know
will
that.
come. Oh my, yes, it certainly will. So if you would right now, let's just step into a clarity, a state of knowing that every being everywhere, from the smallest to the largest, to those that we can see and those that we cannot, is uplifted just as we have been in this experience this morning. We carry it forward, we pay it forward. We see each and every one brought up, consciousness lifted, lives changing, faces softening, smiles blooming. And we say yes to this. We see truly a new earth, a new world moving forth. And it isn't on the horizon anymore, my friends. It is here, it is now, it is ours. We say thank you for this incredible inspiration this morning. We say thank you for our part, albeit small or large, in changing, making this a world that is better with every passing day for every single being. We know it is good and very good, and we let this go with love, and together we say, and so it is. Absolutely an awesome, awesome message, Reverend Sally. Thank you. Several announcements. We do have a town hall meeting following the close of this message this morning. We'll take a brief water break and return. I hope all of you can stay with us and be a part of that. Coming up on January the 31st, Dr. Barnsley Brown will be back with us. She's going to bring the message, and then she's going to provide a workshop of about an hour and a half for a love offering. It's called Power Up Your Prosperity, Lead the Abundant Life Now. I don't know who doesn't want more abundance. You know, keep in mind, folks, that abundance isn't just more financial prosperity. It's walking out your door and seeing someone who might look at you with a cross countenance, smiling at you and saying good morning. It's answering the phone and finding out that, you know, it's somebody you really enjoy speaking to. It's connecting at every level, from opening the refrigerator door to walking out the front door to looking at your bank account. It's all of it. So plan to join us for that. I will have a flyer out for that here in the next few days. If you wish to, you can make a donation to Open Door Center. There are easy ways to do that. You can go to our website, findadeepertruth.org, click on the donate button, and at the bottom of the donate page, you will find a link that will allow you to make a donation either with credit or debit card or through PayPal. I'm getting a lot of flashing things on my screen, and I don't know if everyone else is seeing that or not. Okay, well, maybe it's my internet. So if you lose me, y'all just keep going, you know. It's never hinges on any one of us. So what else did I want to say? If you wish to, you can also mail a donation to Open Door. The address is Open Door CSL 30 Northridge Point, Apartment T, as in Townhouse 5, T5, Sylvan, North Carolina, 28779. I think that's all I have to share. I'm going to turn it over to Sylvia to close us with prayer.
And as we lean into the magnificent words of Reverend Sally, and know that each one of us is the face of God, that each one of us came here to do what is ours to do, for that unity and that wholeness and that oneness that resides within, that has always been there over all of time, is present right here and right now. And as we know, for Open Door, Centers for Spiritual Living, for North Carolina, for the United States of America, and for our globe, that peace, that harmony, and that abundance of the joy of living is always present. As we claim what is ours to claim, let go of what is ours to let go of, knowing that what we put out is what comes back. And as Reverend Sally taught us today, that peace, that joy, that love, the wise words of Reverend Christian Sorensen are present within each of us all the time. It's with great gratitude for this time together. It's with great gratitude for the knowing that the town hall meeting is divine, harmonious, and productive. I release this word into the action and activity of the law that always says yes. And together we say, and so it is.
So it is. Thank you, Sylvia. And thank you again, Reverend Sally. What powerful awareness we've been brought to this morning. So folks, we're going to take a break. You can stay online if you wish. The Zoom link is the same for our